Eldritch is the debut full-length album from Barcelona, Spain-based death metal trio Emissary. Now, they're not exactly death metal. It's kind of a thrash metal band. It's a little bit of a blackened death metal band in a very late '80s sense, but it's something very specific that is hard to convey up front. This is a riff-driven record. It is a death thrash metal record proper. It's got a little bit of that kind of Celtic Frost-inspired death thrash feeling to it in terms of the way that it forms riffs, and it's very deliberate in that sense. So if you're a fan of like horror thrash, like Blood Feast and Postmortem, and especially the sound of Dream Death at their fastest, you'll appreciate the rants and the rhythmic tension that is put into this record. If you're a fan of Matterhorn, or even kind of the black thrash storyteller stuff from Bifrost and their first two records, you'll appreciate that this record is out to tell a story. It's got riffs along the way, and they're actually pretty memorable. They're not quite as verbose as the typical Deceased album, but if you're a fan of that, I think you'd like this as well. There's a strong point of heavy metal in this record. That's the important thing to point out. You'll feel it in any possible clip that I could pull up here. So let's listen to a bit of the record, and I'll just kind of get to the point here, as there's not that much to say. So we don't just have catchy riffs here. That's a unique thing in and of itself. But Emissary bring choruses. They bring memorable repetition into this music that really speaks to that Celtic Frost influence, as well as some of interest in early '80s Running Wild. And I think maybe that's just a normal thing for them. Maybe they're interested in heavy metal in general. But there is a very classic mid '80s kind of intense heavy metal side to this record that is more than just a speed metal and death metal conglomerate. So if you're a fan of like Reversed or a band like that, you'll probably appreciate what this record does as well, because it's kind of in that in between where it's certainly a thrash metal album, it's certainly a death metal album, but there's a lineage of heavy metal going through it that changes its timbre and allows it to do some interesting melodic things once in a while, harmonize in strange ways, as well as just give a big riff its day in the sun. At a 34-minute record, that's all I could ask for. It's a debut in every sense, in that it's still forming what is special about it in some ways, but there's a big personality here, and I think that the more time you spend with this record, let it sink in, get some of those catchier songs in your head, this one should prove itself as just a solid release, and something that anyone interested in '80s death metal or death thrash metal or just late '80s thrash will appreciate. So check it out yourself. It released on March 1st, and go ahead and read my review for much more detail on just the moment-to-moment action on the record and how I felt about it.